I think that some content creators on this very platform have made it hard for people new to this lifestyle to learn or to even get involved in it, period. And I feel like I have to bring this up based on the multitude of comments on one of my recent videos that say things like this: "Now I don't feel guilty for only having a few chickens," or "I'm relieved to be able to focus on what I've done so far." This made me feel better about not being able to do it all. Let me tell you where that mindset is being manifested, why it's causing folks to be stressed out, and why stressing over this silly little stuff has got you stagnant in your homesteading endeavors. It's coming from the hyper niche content creators on this very platform. There's the no-till crowd that'll make you feel like it's a sin to run a tiller through your garden, like you should be doing a back to Eden garden system, or hydroponics, or the lasagna method with the cardboard and mulch, or whatever it may be. The regenerative farmers often imply that if you're not rotating your animals to new ground every day, that you're not doing something right or as good as it could be done. And then there's some of the poultry guys out there that'll make you think if you don't have 150 chickens behind that electric netting that you're not in with the poultry crowd. As a self-proclaimed normal person, let me be the voice of reasoning for the rest of the normal people out there. The vast majority of us still run a tiller through our garden to keep the grass out of it. We still graze our cows on open pasture. And we still keep our chickens in regular chicken coops. You're seeing those hyper niche people on YouTube because they're doing normal things in a unique way. Since they're different, they stand out. And when they stand out, they get attention. And after a little while, everybody sees that and starts copying them and making videos about what they're doing. And pretty soon, that's all you see. Now you subconsciously feel like a lesser of a homesteader because you're not doing it the right way, or the way that everybody else is doing it. That's what I'm here for, a representative for normal people. Look, you should not feel pressured to do something the way that YouTuber does it, or the way that everybody else seems to be doing it. The last thing you need to be is stressed out because you can't keep up with them. The truth is, you don't have to have all the junk. You don't have to move your cows and goats every day, and you don't have to spend the money on that electric netting. I want to be real clear. I'm not saying there's no merit to rotational grazing. There's absolutely merit to it, and it's probably the best way to raise large animals for the animal and the sake of the ground. Hydroponics is an amazing way to grow food. If you want to do it, go for it. But I, like most of you, still have a full-time job and a family, and I don't have time to move cows every day, and that don't make me lesser of a homesteader than the guy that moves his cows at 12 o'clock noon every day. That electric poultry netting, that's probably some really good stuff. And if you can afford it, go get it. But I'm telling you, the starter kit is over $500, and it only comes with 100 feet of fence. That's a 25-foot square. For somebody starting out, that, on top of the cost of a coop, on top of the cost of the chickens and the feed, my goodness, that's way too much for a chicken. My Mississippi brain cannot comprehend that. If you're just getting started, listen to me. You do not have to spend thousands of dollars to live like poor folks. We've been doing this a long time with very little money, but a lot of people are trying to, and they're subconsciously pressured by the big 6- and 7-figure YouTube guys, and they get stressed out when they see how it's supposed to be done and they can't replicate it themselves. And let me go on for just a second and tell you what stress does to your body. This is the most important part of this video because it applies to every one of you watching, and it applies to every aspect of your life. Stress is a natural response brought on by like perceived threats or challenges that you're facing. A lot like fear, stress releases the hormones adrenaline and cortisol. And you know already that cortisol is the stress hormone, or the fight or flight hormone. Something you may not know about cortisol is it inhibits neuroplasticity. And I know that's a big word, but sometimes we just need to learn big words and we need to know what they mean. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change over time and form new neural connections. In simple terms, this is learning new things, or your memory, being able to remember things. Human beings are wired in such a way that high levels of cortisol prevent neuroplasticity, which is your ability to learn new things and retain information. This applies to you wherever you go in every aspect of your life. Work, school, hobbies, homesteading, it's across the board. We've all had good bosses and bad bosses. So you know what I'm talking about. Bad bosses that try to push employees in a threatening way often get negative results, while the good bosses that lead with encouragement see much better results and rarely have problems. This is also especially important in schools. Teachers that constantly harp over their students and threaten them constantly with the consequences of failure are working against what they're there for. We are wired in such a way that when stress increases, learning and memory decreases. You may have seen a court case where somebody on the stand looks like they're struggling to remember something that happened in a life-threatening situation. They're not playing. They honestly can't remember because we are designed in a stressful situation to cut everything off except survival. I'll use one more brief example from my personal life coming from a martial arts background. When we spar, whether we're doing jiu-jitsu or striking, we are literally playing. Now yes, we're getting hit in the face and kicked in the head and all that kind of stuff, but it's not hard enough to make you not want to come back and do it the next day. Hard sparring, especially in striking, is a very stressful situation, and you can't practice your technique or work with your training partner if y'all are going too hard and y'all are both stressed out. Neither one of you is going to get any better. Neither one of you is going to learn anything. But if you turn it into a game and you're laughing and playing, that releases dopamine and enhances neuroplasticity and makes it a lot easier to learn. So then, God forbid, if the time ever came where you had to use what you've been learning, you don't have to think about it. There's no lag in response time because you've been there 1,000 times. The muscle memory is there, the connection is good and strong, and you can do what you have to do in a moment's notice. You don't have to think about it. As a consequence of that, some of the best martial artists that I know personally are the ones that play the most in class. They always seem to be having the best time. I didn't mean for this video to take a turn into a endocrinology lesson or a martial arts thing, but the fact is, it's really important stuff and it really applies to every one of you no matter what you're doing. And it's sad to say, but the average person don't know how their body even works. Hope this comes across as an encouragement to some of you, but if nothing else, now you know how your body works a little bit more and you can position yourself for a better future. Main takeaway, don't stress because you can't keep up with somebody else. The only person that you should compare yourself to is yourself from yesterday. As a matter of fact, in general, people are probably way more stressed out than they should be anyway. And I don't know if that's because of social media. I don't know if it's because the world we live in where we have to have so much money just to live a basic lifestyle with inflation or what. I'm not sure, but people seem to be mad and stressed out an awful lot. I could ramble on and on all day, but me and you both have things we need to be doing. Until next time, God bless. We'll see you in a day or two. Don't do dumb stuff.